Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar on Power Pact Rebuttal. My name is Jesselda and I'm the Assistant Manager for the Voice team at Neural IT. Neural IT pioneers in offering medical legal, voice, and IT services for personal injury, medical malpractice, and mass tort law firms. Now, without further ado, I shall introduce our speaker, Ms. Mary Upanni, Business Development Manager at Neural IT. She has a decent expertise as Business Development Manager. Her deep passion for work involves interacting with her privileged clients, which in turn inspired her to be an integral part of the informative webinar. Over to you, Ms. Mary.
Thank you, Jesselda, and a very good evening to all the attendees. Thank you for taking your time and being a part of today's webinar, the Power Pact Rebuttal. Before we get started, just wanted to share some thoughts. I had recently read an article and in one of the newspapers written by one of the lawyers, and something that catched my mind, and I wanted to share that with all of you today. Knowledge of rights and a skill to use the law to enjoy your rights are the two basic principles of legal empowerment. For a very simple reason that one needs skills to secure enforcement and pursue remedies when these rights are violated. There is a very famous quote from the Queen of Jordan. She very rightly says, "When you deprive people of their right to live in dignity, to hope for a better future, to have control over their lives, when you deprive them of this very choice, then you expect them to fight for their right." On this note, let us begin our today's webinar. The agenda for today, dear attendees, is we're going to divide our webinar into two parts. The first 20 minutes we will be spending in discussing how Neural IT can be of assistance in drafting a strong rebuttal for the law firms. What are the strengths of Neural IT and how you can make an optimum utilization of Neural IT. The last 10 minutes will be exclusively kept to answer all your questions. If you have anything that you want to ask, I will pick them up and try to answer as many questions as you have. So without delaying further, let's start off with our today's webinar. Now, we all are aware that why usually an insurance company denies a claim. So there are basically two reasons. Either they believe that an accident did not cause that kind of injury or damage to the patient or the plaintiff, or they believe that the plaintiff is exaggerating in the kind of their injury and the damage. How can Neural IT be of assistance? We know rebuttal is a draft that acts as an evidence to contradict or portray the kind of disapproval of an assertion which is made by the opposite party. And at Neural IT, we have a highly skilled team of team members who are going to do all the research, the groundwork. They're going to go through the matter so thoroughly and provide you with all the evidence you need to support your position. Now here we have jotted down a few points on how we can go ahead and draft a demand letter and how your demand letter can become more strong. The first point that we see here is download the relevant document from AAA. So our team is going to go to the AAA portal and download all the relevant documents. The second point we see is sort and review the available documents. Now, when we talk about sorting and reviewing available documents, I will tell you in brief what exactly our team is going to do here. First thing is they're going to match the amount of dispute of the DOS, that is the date of service, from the denial of claim form, and that they're going to match with the bill date. Second thing, they're going to also check the reason for the denial of the claim form. What is the explanation that is given, or what is the explanation of the review records? Then our team will also check the medical records pertaining to the denial service date range that is available. And then they will also check the relevant peer review record that's available. The next point is tag and abstract data. Now it is a two-part functionality. They tag and abstract data. So they're going to tag all important peer reviewers' point, and the data that they're going to extract is patient's details, the DOA, that's the date of accident, the date range of the treatment taken, examination details, type of treatment that is taken, the range of motion, severity of pain and its progress, and of course medication. Then we see review peer report or IME. Here our team is going to study and understand the peer reviews examination. Whatever report the peer has submitted, they're going to go through it thoroughly. Then they're going to cross-validate. Cross-validation is where our team is going to review the peer records, the peer review statement, and the facts of the actual medical record of the patient. We will also analyze and justify. So once we have all these documents and records, our team will do an extensive analysis, and then they're going to justify and to tell you how the patient definitely requires this particular treatment and why he should, he's eligible for that particular treatment. Last but not the least, drafting of the rebuttal. Here, when we draft, our team, when they draft a rebuttal, they make sure to use all authenticated and published literature to validate how your client deserves the standard of care in a righteous manner. Now, what are the documents required for drafting a valid rebuttal? First, denial of claim form and explanation of the review or explanation of the benefit records. Second, peer review or IME report, relevant medical record, and relevant bills. What are the hurdles for not being able to draft a strong demand letter? Like, what are the usual objections that someone faces while drafting a rebuttal? My apologies. Missing peer review or IME report, missing contemporary medical records in case of service denied on the basis of IME, missing required medical records or medical bills, mismatch between the bills and denied services. Now here we will see we have made a table which shows you the difference between a strong and a weak rebuttal. We have actually highlighted around 5 points on each side, which will tell you as a comparison, how do I identify whether this draft of rebuttal, whether it's a strong rebuttal or there is something missing. So in a strong rebuttal, you will see that the peer reviewers' denial points are strongly contested. Our team is going to present all relevant medical records as a support. Then we will also highlight the peer's weaknesses and misses. The team uses a valid citation and publication. We also use references of standard guidelines, rules, EBM reviews. On the other hand, a weak rebuttal, like usually a weak rebuttal is misunderstanding the peer denial points. They do not have any backup of medical records. They do not show any medical records as a support. most of the weak rebuttals will reflect or will show accusations and allegations on reviewers. They most of the time use backdated, blameless, and poorly cited references. It also has unsupported claims and statements just to prove their point. Now, what are the references and guidelines that is used by Neural IT? Our team usually uses PubMed, NBCI, OrthoInfo from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, NIA Clinical Guidelines for Medical Necessity Review. What are the type of rebuttal based on subject? So we have listed a few type of rebuttals based on subject, but yes, we do there is a list that we also do, not just restricted to the ones that we're talking about. So in investigations, we have radiology that includes MRI, CT scan, and labs, and we also have pathology. Then we have acupuncture, occupational therapy, and physiotherapy. In durable medical equipment, we have support braces, TENS units. Then we also have injectable anesthesia and surgical intervention, which includes implant, corrective surgeries, etc. What is the necessity for a perfect rebuttal? So, when we draft a rebuttal, what are the it should be brief and it should be up to the mark. It should always maintain a positive tone. It should be exclusive of allegations and accusations. A perfect rebuttal should be grammatically sound and error-free, should have valid and genuine explanations. It should be supported with foolproof research if required, and it should be aligned and well related to the subject. It cannot be diverted by the subject just to prove a particular point. A very important thing, what is Neural IT's strength in drafting a rebuttal? All of you all have taken time to attend this webinar to know how Neural IT can be of assistance to you. And these are a few points that we are highlighting to tell you what are our strengths and how we can assist you. So we have a comprehensive understanding. Our team does an extensive study and research before drafting a rebuttal. Drafting rebuttals with all the required specifications, and we supplement it with valid research, publications, and guidelines. The team also emphasizes and highlights the points. We also do a lot of analysis, as we spoke earlier as well. We use all relevant guidelines. Now here we also have licensed doctors who can validate and sign the rebuttals for you. We take care of the AAA deadline and deliver it much before time. Now here I will be quickly showing you a rebuttal sample, and before I just go on to showing you the sample, I will just let you know what are the contents of the rebuttal sample. So what does it have? What does it contain? So the details that we have is rebutting provider's detail, insurance company name, the patient's name, provider's name. Then we also have the claim number, the AAA number date of the loss, date of service, that is the DOS, the type of service denied. Then we also have all the list of documents that we have reviewed, then the peer reviewer's point. In the contesting paragraph, we include the medical examination findings. We have a table that shows all the details of progresses and evaluations. We also have the references. And towards the end, we have a concluding declaration as well as the signature of the contesting medical provider. So this is how the sample is. Now the sample is with our watermark. If you do not want the watermark, you can request it and we will customize this as per your requirement. So here we have the patient's name, the provider, the claim number. This is the evaluation record. You have it in a tabular format. Towards the end, you also see a conclusion that is mentioned, a conclusion, a declaration. So this is basically how our rebuttal sample looks like. Moving on, the technology that we use. Now, Neural IT basically believes that no documents should be transmitted or sent or received via email. They are confidential to the clients and the plaintiffs, even to the law firms. So we have our own in-house portal that is Entrust, and Entrust is HIPAA and GDPR compliant. So we make sure of all the compliances, and that's how we have designed Entrust. You can upload all documents there, and registration or getting onto Entrust is complimentary. We have always made sure that this registration always remains complimentary, and it will continue to remain complimentary. There is no charge, and we will never charge our clients to get onto Entrust and register. Just highlighting a few points here. What exactly would you get on Entrust? But yes, it has a lot of features. When I get on a one-to-one call with you, I will definitely explain you more about it. But as of now, it auto-generates reports with the statuses to determine the progress. It also customizes the report as per the client's demands. The pricing and rates. Now, our prices for a rebuttal drafting starts from $25 for rebuttal, and it goes up to $40. Now, why this range between 25 to 40 is because as per your requirement, you have your own templates, you have your own ways to customize it. So as per your requirement, we will customize a rebuttal for you, and that's how the charges would vary between $25 to $40. With this, we come to the end of our today's webinar. I really thank each of you all to be so patient and attending our webinar. Now here you will see the registration link to Entrust. That's our application, as I told you earlier in the earlier slide. You do not have to make any notes right now because we will be sending you an email with the handout and a link to our enrollment to Entrust as well. It will also include the sample that I just shared with you as well as the rate chart. Moving on to our next part, the second part of our webinar, that is the question answer. Now, I see quite a lot of questions coming, but I'll pick up a few frequently asked questions. And yes, if I am missing out on any questions that you want to discuss or you want to get in touch with us, because of time constraint, I may not be able to answer all your questions. So if there's anything that I missed out or you want to discuss anything one-to-one with us, please feel free to write into us at info@neuralit.com, or you can also call us on our toll-free number, that is 844-648-8326. Okay, so moving on to our question answer. The first question that I see here is, what is the turnaround time for drafting a rebuttal? Now here, our team can deliver the rebuttal usually within 2 to 3 days if all the relevant documents are available and it's provided to our team. But yes, if in case you have an urgent rebuttal and you want it to be delivered at the earliest, then you just need to pick up the phone and let our team know, and we will just put in some additional resources and assist you with drafting of the rebuttal in one single day. But this fast track process does not incur any additional cost. So we do not charge you anything extra to prioritize your rebuttal. We do not charge you anything extra for this fast track process. So that is without any charge. But yes, our regular time is 2 to 3 days. The next question I have is, do you also get rebuttals signed if needed? Yes, we of course we have doctors on our panel who can sign the rebuttals, but we offer the services only if the rebuttal is drafted by Nurul. So only if we draft your rebuttal and you need us to get it signed, we have the doctors on our panel and they will do it for you. The third question I see here is, what are the charges for drafting rebuttals? As we spoke earlier as well, it's between $25 per rebuttal and goes up to $40 as per your requirement and how you want us to customize it. Now, do you charge extra for signing a rebuttal? Yes, we do charge extra for signing a rebuttal. But yes, there will be a very minimal additional cost to sign that. So we will, once we get on the call with you and discuss how your requirements are, what you want us to do further, we will accordingly discuss and let you know what's the estimation and how much that would go up to. But yes, signing will not cost you a lot. It will just be a minimal charge. So that's it for the day. These are the questions that I had. And once again, thanking all of you that you'll were very patient and you'll attended this webinar. And I hope this webinar turns out to be fruitful to you and has given you some insight on how Neural IT can be of assistance to you. Thank you once again. Have a great day.